Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Environmental Services Committee meeting for the Village of Prince Edward for this Tuesday, October the 14th. Call the meeting to order. Check if there's any declarations of pecuniary interest.
None.
None here. The prior meeting minutes were circulated at a council meeting and approved by council. Do you have any questions or anything on those?
No.
No, thank you. I mean, Mayor Hand. The health and safety report is attached as item 8. In my review, it's just all the recurring items that we're fully aware of.
I wish they, this is confusing, it's the same stuff all the time. We already know that there's a problem. Maybe if there's something different, write it in a different color or to highlight if there was something that changed, because it's the same thing every month. They're writing this stuff down. We already, we're already aware of it. I guess they have to, but
Yeah, we have to continue.
Yeah.
maybe just highlight if there's something that's
The only
unusual.
there is a new addition on here.
Oh, wait a minute.
So basically the access ladders.
Yep.
For the lower building. the
Okay.
shop, and the pump. We had Level Safety come in
Okay,
as a third party and do inspections on the cage ladders. Being all unsafe. So as of right now, I've instructed all of our staff to not use them. And that if they need to get onto the building, before maintenance or anything, they have to come to you first and we'll look at an alternate way of getting them up there and down.
to the left.
Gene has set works, but
Yeah.
it's not convenient because the railings, the stage rail, you gotta go up over them.
Mhm.
So then you have about a 6-foot drop
Yeah,
or better because you have to go over the railing.
they can't go up against the railing and then just jump over.
Yeah,
Yeah, right. Okay.
safely.
Yeah,
They can.
yeah.
But,
That's when you're not do that on your day off.
So what is the fix then?
I've got quotes, I've
Okay.
received quotes, for the replacement. 2 other ladders at the plan in the past, we've had to replace. We
Okay.
put the staircase, instead of going with the cage ladder, we put the staircases. So I've priced 32,500 each. For the, staircases to do that, so.
Are you also getting quotes on the
The
ladders?
ladder?
No,
Why not?
the ladders, I feel they're unsafe. They, we have to carry out bulky product, tools. We're up there in winter. It's not an ideal situation trying to get up and down in the winter time in carrying bulky filters and tools and equipment. That's why we replaced the other 2 with ladders access. Makes it easier for not only our staff, but the contractors to get up and down, carrying the product they need to carry.
And how often do we go on a roof?
We're up there a couple times a month. At minimum.
Okay. Right?
I can get prices on it. I don't, I just gonna be a whole lot different. With those, we're gonna have to take part of the building, like siding off the building and try to attach to because they're welded into the frame of the buildings.
Oh, okay.
So, but I can do that if council wishes me to, or committee wishes me to, for a comparison, but it's still gonna have the additional challenges of getting stuff on the floor.
But you just mentioned 2 staircases.
There's 3,
There's 3.
yeah, so there's the lower building,
Okay, but they all need to be replaced?
all 3 of them will be unsafe.
Okay.
We actually, Mike had a contractor and was looking at rules for the village. They wanted to come last week and I had to tell them that they couldn't come, that they couldn't have access to the room. To look at it, until we figure out how we're gonna be able to get them up and down.
Okay, and you'll be bringing that to budget in November?
Actually, it was in my report.
Oh, we'll get to we'll do the report
Okay.
then.
I think it was in.
So anything on the health and safety other than
No.
that? Okay, and so
Thank you.
you've deemed them out of service, can't be used, and staff have to approach you to go on the roof to work the plan, right? Is that where we're at?
That's what.
Okay, all right. So we'll start with your report then. Jay, go ahead.
Updates from the previous month. So the village has hired Associated Engineers to take over the engineering portion of the digester project. They came down to the plant. We had scaffolding put in the tank and made a physical entry into the tank. They're currently working on preparing a report on their findings and possible solutions that they're gonna recommend to get the project moving again. I have a meeting, actually, we scheduled a meeting for 2:30 today. They have some questions and stuff they wanna go over. We're hoping to have the report before the end of the month. Would enable us to, you know, work with that information into the budget. As of right now, we wouldn't have any updated information put in the 2026 budget. Other than what we currently have there for existing funds. And then there's some other issues with that, which you'd have to bring Jim's gonna be dealing with some of the aspects as far as the contract and stuff like that go. Work management, we have 3 full-time employees in the department, one's on leave. And we still have the 1 co-op student, which her term ends in December. And I'm still continuing to work with Jim on looking at some staffing solutions to ensure we have the proper coverage and the requirements of the department are being met. Training, all of our staff are required to get a minimum hours of training to keep their licenses and certification. Again, we're doing the best we can with the short staff numbers, and the health and safety, we're all just keeping up with the village matrix. Certifications, all of our staff are currently certified under the regulations and continuing to try to get higher licenses. For our treatment plant, all the maintenance is being conducted in the tracking mesh work order system. All the remote facilities, again, are being maintained, and all the regular scheduled work is being completed. The administration building, the health and safety issues there, they're still online with building. The new building construction is moving forward. They have spoke with me. They have a couple questions that they want the village to make a decision on so they can go to the builder. We had an on-site meeting. The contractor, the engineers, they all were suggesting that the village considered putting like a facade on the front of the building, the saw one side of the building, to give us a little bit of curb appeal, being it was right up the road. I was told they dropped some samples off to you, Jim. And we do have a quote on that.
Yeah, it's in our agenda for later, so
Okay.
yeah, we can discuss that then, I guess.
So they reached out today and they're asking for an update on that as soon as possible. The wells were all capped, and again, spoke with the engineer, and the majority of the reviews done, so we are getting close to a point where we can start looking at applying to the county for foundation permits. Roof access ladders, again, as mentioned before, there's the 3 that have been deemed unsafe by a third party.
Just back to the building, at our last committee meeting, you commented we were gonna move the berm ourselves and do it like internally. Was it not Vaza that did that,
Vaza had the excavator,
right?
and they ended up using a loader because their backhoe, so we had one of our village backhoes. The village loaders, the other village loader.
Yeah.
Had some mechanical issues with oil leaks and stuff, so it wasn't usable.
Oh,
at the
okay.
time. So
So we tried, but because
we
of,
did use one loader, unfortunately, the second one wasn't, I was told by Public Works it was scheduled to be repaired by Tormont, so we didn't wanna use it and create a
yeah,
major failure.
okay,
So,
yep, fair enough. Thank you.
so roof.
We're on the roof
Yeah.
access ladders.
So I was going to, I was gonna possibly, I'd like to have the discussion of possibly having the staircases approved before the budget and then added into the budget. It is a safety item. So if you wanted to get ladder prices, I can do that fairly quickly. But if something does happen, we are gonna have an issue. You know, getting on winter times coming, the heat, it's all the heat and ventilations up there as well.
How did we get to, them all failing? Like, do we not inspect them as part of our health and safety inspections?
We do a visual inspection,
Okay.
and we've noticed corrosion and the rust and stuff coming through. They've been painted multiple times in the past.
Mm-hmm.
The cages are starting to wobble when you climb on them. They just are starting to feel
So through
a
usage, you
little through usage, and then that's what drove us to bring in
okay,
a third
Yep.
party to actually do a formal inspection on it.
right, oh, fair enough. Yep, thank you.
Like I said, it is something that, you know, it's gonna remain on the health and safety walkthroughs for the next little bit, but the budget is coming.
Is
So,
there,
so you're looking for us to make a recommendation that we approve like $100,000?
Well, it's 32.5 plus tax per ladder, so.
You're working against us. I thought I was rounding up with 100. So you're looking at, so 120 would be probably a fair number as an emergency repair, and then it would be put into your budget
Yeah,
as a budget item.
that's why I
But
said possibly take the, you know, use some of the reserve.
is
to
there
get it
money,
going.
is there any money, existing money in this year's budget?
Not for this, no.
I mean, not used money. I guess probably.
you put it into the
Well,
building
yeah, you would,
loan.
you can.
This doesn't make much difference.
Exactly, like it's, yeah. It's one of those things that kind of, it needs to be done, so,
And reserves, what's the?
that's probably the thing to do, like it's gotta be done. They're gonna do it, like if we give them the approval now, are they gonna do it this year?
That's the plan if they get it.
So even putting it into next year's budget, if they're gonna do it this year, doesn't really.
Right.
It's one of those, it's an emergency thing that has to be done, and the money's gonna have to come out of reserves, and I mean, if there's. Like leftover money from other projects,
Right.
just let that
Well, then
sort itself
we'll
out on the
address the
other
reserve
side.
issue during budget
Yeah.
if we need to prop it up.
I would also think that if we gave the go-ahead now, mid-October, billing probably wouldn't happen until January. Would it? Like, are they gonna be that fast
Yeah.
to fabricate metal stairs and install and paint and?
I'm hoping they can get it done.
Okay.
They haven't guaranteed it. Basically, their answer is depending on when we get the approvals to schedule it in, and then they schedule it in. So if everything works out perfectly, they could potentially have them in.
And are you doing additional quotes or is this a sole source provider?
I right now I've got just the one quote just to get a,
And is that who did the other staircase?
yeah, it's Rock Technical, and I can get other people in to do it. Just the longer, like you said, the longer we wait, obviously, it could. And make us in the next, get us in the next year, right?
Well, so my feeling on this is it doesn't really need committee approval. He's got an emergency situation that's health and safety related. It has to be repaired. You, as a CAO, can approve
Yeah.
this
That-
expenditure and then
Then we figure out,
Then we-
depending on timing,
you
Where the
report it,
money-
you report a negative variance based on that and away you go, right? And then you
That's-
find the money.
that's reasonable.
Yeah, so
It's,
I guess that was,
yeah, it's one of those things that you just gotta do.
yeah.
so Jim's approved it.
Thanks, Jim. Sorry, 26 operating budget, all of the information that currently has been sent to the treasurer. I believe they're currently working on, we have a meeting tomorrow for the wastewater budget. With Jim and the treasurer. Inspections or no inspections report this period. Wastewater infrastructure, basically all of our assets are in good operational condition. The sewer repairs, sidewalk in Michigan in front, the sidewalks in. So it's just a little bit of boulevard restoration stuff that hopefully we can get done this week or early next week. To get that all cleaned up. The sanitary pump stations were all cleaned last week. I'm still currently working with the contractor on quotes for relining the sanitary and storm line on St. Clair as per the engineer's recommendations. It's always been the plan. It was just originally it was a 5 to 10 year kind of idea. Now it's we need to look at this sooner than later.
More immediate.
To ensure that, we don't have issues that would cause us to get into the road again. So hopefully, they told me I would have them about this time, so I'm hoping anytime in the next week or so, we can have some numbers and again, we can look at that.
I have a quick question on St. Clair Street. This
Yeah.
is more of an FYI for me. So the storm drains, right, along the new section.
Yeah.
Sat there and they've used asphalt behind them where the curb would go. And now they've come in and poured the curbs. Why do they do that as a stage?
Well,
work?
so what they're gonna have to do is those catch basins are all gonna have to be lifted.
Yeah, but they
So
poured the curbs now.
in some of them,
Okay.
they'll have to repair, because the catch basins are going to be all lifted.
Mhm.
So we'll have to, any cement that's attached to it will have to be removed, lifted and re-poured.
So the ones they've poured now are because they're already lifted in the right spot.
They shouldn't be, because they're all set for the temporary, like for the
Mhm.
base asphalt. When they do the final asphalt, they're all gonna have to be set. That's what you can see, when you look at them, the hoses, there's the little
Yeah,
hose on both sides sticking up.
yeah.
That's to allow water to get in.
Oh, okay.
But some of them might be set to height on the bridge side.
Yeah,
Some
so
of-
that's where I've noticed it.
Yeah.
So, 'cause I noticed they were all had like asphalt at the back to keep the water on the road, like just
Yeah.
temporary. And then I noticed a couple got poured in the last week and
Yeah.
on the bridge side, yes.
Yeah, so those ones, they've probably set them.
Yeah.
And then that's why they put the,
And then they
Right.
form the cement that goes to the curb and around it. They do all as one pour.
Yeah.
Right, based on the
Should all
final
go.
height. Okay,
should be all-
that makes sense. Okay. Thank you.
Drinking water, so all our assets are currently in operational condition, contracted mesh. St. Clair Street, we do have a list of deficiencies that was created with the engineer, myself, and manager of operations. And that is to be, was shared with the contractor to start planning getting those fixed up. All the hydrant and valve maintenance was completed for the year. Hydrant flushing in the village was completed. We do have a contractor scheduled for this week to come in and do the fire flow testing and all the new hydrants that have been installed in the village. And then again, the water budget, information is all passed on to the treasurer to start preparing next year's budget.
If we can just pop back up to the sanitary lining again.
Yeah.
When do you want that done? Like, and when could it be done? I know yesterday is probably the right answer, but
In talking with the contractor, which there's not a lot of options for contractors for that type of thing. They have a job in London that they're looking to see if they get the pricing and it was something the village was gonna go forward with. They're trying to see if they can, their operations staff can figure out where they can piggyback it on to the jobs in London. We haven't got an answer on that yet for sure. They can do it through the winter. The only problem with the winter is they obviously have to heat so they have to bring in trailers with boilers and it's a little more complicated and a little obviously more expensive
right.
to do. So if they can't get it done this year, then it would be something for spring start. The engineer was recommending to get it done as soon as we possibly can, but unfortunately, they've got, they have quite a bit of work on their books.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
They need to try to fit it in, and we still don't know. We don't have a cost on it yet either, right? So,
Right.
as soon as we can get that cost and then find out if it is a possibility, even while they do the work in London.
Mhm.
You think you'll have it for budget
I'm
discussion?
hoping so. They
Okay.
told me it'd be 3 to 4 weeks to get the report,
Okay,
and we're in that.
yeah,
Just soon start our 4th week since
okay.
I met with them. So.
And I was always very confused. I thought this was all part of the whole St. Clair Street project when we were tendering it, that the sanitary lining would be part of that. And
Unfortunately,
Like the discussion about having it done was all part of that conversation, but the decision was to leave it as a separate item,
Right.
like a separate contract,
Yeah.
and not run it through the general contractor
yeah,
to save us money.
yeah. But I thought we
And
would
then
have
wait until
pricing.
it was all done.
Yeah, thought we would have
And-
ballpark pricing by
Yeah.
now as well. But
Well, they did, I think they gave us a ballpark price of, I think it was around $500,000, but that was
yeah,
3, 4,
Yeah.
5 years ago.
Oh,
That they get, as an idea, this is roughly what you should expect that price to be. And then all along it was wait until all the other construction is done
yes.
and then
Yeah.
do that.
I
So,
remember that part. Yeah.
but then I think the urgency is they've actually physically seen the condition of some of the pipe and said, you want to get on this as quick as you can.
Okay. Thank you.
inspections, so there's no water inspections. At this time. The storm water infrastructure, so I'm working with Tormont on getting 2 emergency diesels put back in and replaced. So the diesels they're all ordered. They came down to the site with their team again, just to review everything. They're on course, I guess, to say to do the work this year yet and get everything installed. So the plan is to have that project done and completed before the end of the year. The backup generator, it has been put in place at Michigan, and it is not operational at the time. Part of the reason is we're looking for that grant money, and part of the stipulations is it cannot be fully
Mhm.
operational in order to qualify, so we're kind of in a sit and wait until we find out if we get any of that grant money to apply to that. Catch basin repair list, again, just it's an ongoing list that we take care of the items once we get a few of them on the list, unless they need immediate repair. And it's just an ongoing thing that we deal with. And then 26 operating budget for the stormwater's been submitted. The 26 capital and reserve budget's also been submitted for the stormwater. And as I said, I was working with that contractor, same contractor for the storm sewer lining. Our vehicles and equipment are all in good working safe conditions. The health and safety, all of our ongoing issues which have been identified in the reports and we've discussed already. We don't have any security issues. Capital reserve and budgets. BM Ross has submitted me the final report now, so we had some discussions that's gonna be shared. I'll share it with Jim and share it with council and whoever, so we did have some discussions on a couple of the things that I had in question, and I was curious why they got done the way they did, and that was also worked out, so.
So what was the resolution then on the pumping station, the sewage pumping station on Venetian?
Basically, the pumps are pumping what they're required to, the bottleneck is or it appears from what we can see, the bottleneck is in the actual force main itself. So it will just, the pipe can't handle any additional flow.
So
Which section?
So the main reason there's discrepancy was there's a valve between the 2 wells and that valve leaks. So when they did the original test, it was closed, but it was actually pumping the level. There's no level indication or anything in that well. So you manually would have to measure it. So they were assuming that because the valve was closed, it was sealed. It wasn't sealed, so when we opened the valve, and we were actually doing pumping of both. the numbers went back to where they should have been.
Between the pumping station and the plant where the bottleneck is then?
Yeah, so from the pumping station to pretty much right in front of the customs building. That length was a force main, and then it goes back to gravity, so it's that force main.
And the pumping station is the pump right across from the thank you sign on Venetian,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. So.
So that
length
section is,
force-
the pipe is too small. It would have to be replaced. Is it under the roadway or in the
Yeah,
grassy
It's
median?
in the boulevard, and then for part of it, it goes, like, runs on an angle, so part of it's in the boulevard.
Yeah.
It ends up into the roadway for the other portion of it.
But just like not right out down the middle of the road, eh?
No, it would be about a third
Okay.
of the way out into the westbound lane.
And how involved would replacement be?
Gonna be involved because the law is 42-inch. Runs through there, there's a lot of infrastructure in there. So it would be.
And how do you handle that? Do you have to reroute what's being put through it, or do you? Like, if you replace it, or do you just replace it and then cut it over?
You could possibly, depending on, I'm not sure exactly how everything's in the ground.
Yeah,
Depending on how much clearance you have between the other infrastructure, you could be able to take the hose and line in, put the main line in. There's a possibility of running a second force main from then putting pumps in the other well and having operate as two wells and two force mains. Again, that would be all,
yeah,
we'd have.
an engineer to
Involved.
decide that, yeah. Okay,
Yeah, because how do you deal with the existing waste?
yeah, while you're putting in a new pipe,
Yeah,
And you could, like, while they were doing it, you would run above ground temporary lines.
Hmm,
They would put a pump in and.
oh, okay, so you could do that, like an above ground bypass.
Yeah,
I mean,
you
do
know,
the
you'd
work,
have to deal with the entrance for the customs building.
yeah,
Typically is how you do this, everything would be above ground, just like the temporary.
yeah, the water ones, yeah,
Such to be sanitary.
good.
But
Hmm.
a lot of it too is dependent on what actually potentially would come down that pipe, right? So.
Yeah.
With the potential of two large developments, it's a significant increase, right? in
Yeah.
flows, So.
so if you just looked at one right now, so say. Venetian, the 20 units. What's the impact of that?
Sorry, the.
Merrington,
The American development, if you don't
Yeah.
like,
So
the other one is so far away,
Merrington's, there's no.
no
we have
impact,
no issues
okay,
with that at all. It would be potential for Homestown and.
Yeah.
The one across. from-
I just wanted like more immediate is Marrington's.
Because Marrington's beyond the capacity.
It's back on.
Yeah, yeah.
Or the.
Gravity,
so
Yeah.
It's past there, I was thinking it was, okay, I was looking at it,
Like Marrington will tie in
yeah,
beyond where the
Yeah,
capacity issue
I
is.
was looking at it back.
Yeah.
It's not Marrington's won't have any
Okay.
issues with that. It would be the other ones.
Okay. Beyond,
Okay, thank you for that update. I think we're at the grant.
Yes, so the Venetian generator, the emergency diesel backup generator. So right now it's been added to I've added it to the 26 budget request. Again, we don't hear back. We were told we weren't gonna hear back about the grant, which this was part of, until January. So I'm not sure how we're gonna deal with that, with the budget being a budget request. We're still waiting for.
I thought we were supposed to find out this year,
we put the
Went in on June.
applications were in June and they
Yeah.
told us 6 to 8 months.
So
68 or something like
Mhm.
6 to 9.
68, so almost 6 years.
yeah,
So it is, like I said, I have added it back to
Surprise you.
the 26 request, but
okay. No, I thought we were supposed to know by December, but maybe that's what I was hoping.
and community, we've had no community feedback. We have no upcoming events, and I don't have any closing comments.
Lovely. Any questions outside of the ones we've already posed?
No, kind of ask questions as
As
we
we
go
go,
today,
yeah.
so I don't lose track. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Jay, for a good report. Appreciate the updates. Well, there was, I was gonna ask about.
Oh, I did have one question while you're thinking.
Yeah.
The co-op student leaves in December. Is there an option for a January term for someone else?
As of right now,
I don't have a program finding runs.
the program itself is, they didn't bring any first year students in.
Okay,
The second year students, most of them, like she's the one we have right now. She'll be returning, they'll be doing their last semester and then they'll be graduating. So I
Okay.
don't believe any
Okay.
of the second year students
okay.
would be like, they're all,
back in school.
yeah.
Okay.
Originally, they were told it was gonna be like, possibly a COVID similar.
Yeah,
Online thing, but I think she told me the other day that it sounds like it's gonna be back in
Okay.
class. And then I'm not sure if the program. There will be no second year students next year.
Right.
yeah,
And I don't know if there'll be any first students, to be honest.
yeah.
You know, Ridgetown's closed their program up. It was done last year, and I think Northern is. It's gonna be. Probably done too, by the sound of it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Under new business, item 2 is a potential wainscoting proposal for the new building. Sales pitches forthcoming or?
Honestly, it is completely aesthetics. The engine, like I said, the engineer and the builder. Excuse me, there's a couple engineers on site, they all. You know, thought that being the location's right at the road, fairly busy area. That the village may want to have. A little more curb appeal to it, rather than it looking like a big industrial building. Right at the waterfront, they suggested to look at these options, so. The Dixon provided us with a quote and. I'm not sure if this email he did put some pictures in just to kind of give an idea of what it's gonna look like.
I'm pretty sure they're there.
Yeah, if you go down right to the very last 2 pages.
Now, they did. He did recommend not to put to go ahead and put the sill in. So on top of the wainscoting, you could actually put an artificial sill all the way around. That's not included, it'd be significantly more money to do that. So they've kept it as economical as they can. But
And is this just 2 sides or all 4 sides?
they were doing, I believe the
think
quote
it was
was
3.
3 sides, so it would be the west, south and east side. Those would all be visible from the road.
So. What about if you only did the front? Does it necessarily have to be the sides as well?
The only, my.
I don't know, would-
and the
would that look
suggestion
odd?
would be,
I guess define where the front is. So the front facing
Yeah.
Alexandra would
Right, that's
be
what I meant,
like
like if,
the part facing Alexandra.
Yeah.
Or actual front of the building. I think it would look out of place. Only doing 3 of the 4 makes sense because your 4th
Yeah,
wall to
number
the
3
north
behind.
is
yeah,
not seen.
I can ask them to, give us a cost comparison if we only did. Either.
like, I don't want it to look stupid,
The
but I
south
just,
and possibly the west.
It won't look completed then.
I mean, it's not huge money in the overall budget for the project. It's $30,000 though, that doesn't, it doesn't improve the effectiveness of it. It's like they said, it is purely how the building looks.
Yeah.
And
So I have no appetite for it at $30,000, primarily because none of the other buildings have this. If we had developed an overall plan over the years that all the buildings had wainscoting and this to make it fit in, yes. I don't think 6 feet of wainscoting on this building will make it look any less than an industrial look, because all the other buildings are industrial, right? We got railings on the roofs, we got equipment, we got trucks, we got, it's no matter, the only way it could be softened up is if they did the whole exterior in a brick or whatever, right? The entire building, but even then, everything to the east is very industrial looking, right? So you're sort of putting a like lipstick on a pig type of thing, right? Like it's still going to be an industrial work site, and this little bit of, and especially at 6 feet of wainscoting on what, like a 25-foot high building, it's going to be so minimal. I don't see it. Like when you go to that picture at the bottom,
I
Jim,
was
like
gonna say, they did put they kind of took, the building in the bottom was a building they did in, where am I?
Yeah,
okay.
those pictures aren't on here. They're
Oh, no,
the
there's actual
elevations.
Physical pictures, yeah.
Okay, but that's our building, right?
Yep.
That's what our.
So
building will
so
look
so
like.
that whole wall there,
So
which
that-
looks very industrial, only the red part would be wainscoting, which I think would be, it just would not have any impact.
And that's fine, like,
Yeah, and like
They're
I said, it was a
just-
suggestion to me from the builder and the contractors. Makes no difference to me, it's just, they did think they would bring some curb appeal to the vans were right. near
Well,
the
we'll hang curtains or
intersections.
something.
And the other thing I keep in mind is that's one of the staircases.
Yeah, and I got no problem with
Yeah.
that.
Yes.
I was thinking that too,
Yeah.
like, oh my God, same price.
Yeah.
I just need to, like, they needed to know.
It was nice of
wanted
them to come
do it.
forward.
Yeah. So yeah. Thank them for the suggestion,
Yeah.
but
Just that there would have been changes to the order of the building to allow for this, so, yeah. I'm fine either way. it
Yeah.
is.
After your earlier news.
it's always something with this
Mhm.
guy.
Mhm.
okay. So the recommendation is that we thank the contractor for the suggestion, but we're going to pass on wainscoting. Jim, did you want to do this as new business?
Sure,
Yeah.
yeah. So this is, we had the discussion about kind of rejigging how we do the budget and making the service fees pay for staff time, the water usage pay for water sales, and sewage sales pay for the operating costs, and then having the reserve charge pay for the capital, yeah. So on the left-hand side is 2025. They're actually both 2025 numbers, so 20 on the left is how it's done today, and on the right is how it would be done if we made those changes to the service fees and reserve fees and everything. So the reserve fees are actually the same. They don't change at all. The overall impact is that this would be more expensive. About 17 cubic meters is where the break-even point is. So anybody that's using less than 17 cubic meters per month would pay more, which is probably, I'm going to say 80% of I would say at least 80% of the village
Use 17.
use
Less
17 or
than.
less, yeah. And so these are actual customers. Like I went and picked
Like, he used
some
mine.
people in this
Yeah.
room.
Yeah.
I used a large user. And I've got another column that's hidden that shows who they are, but they're average users. So as you see here at 16 cubic meters, the person is paying 49 cents more. Then like under the new, if we change the rates, they would be paying 49 cents more than per month than they are today. Somebody who's only using 4 cubic meters, they're actually paying almost $6 a month more under the new system if we were to change to it. So I've been,
So who gets hit? Like, so that 2750 is a commercial business.
yeah,
They would pay $1,200 a month less.
less, yeah.
Doesn't seem right.
Because the reserve charge doesn't have to go up. Like you're paying one reserve charge, right? And it's going up by about 18%, where the usage charge, like they use a lot of water and it's being reduced by the 18%. So 18% of 4,700 is a lot more than 18% of
How do you put reserve? How do you put reserve up 18%?
not
And the-
reserve. Reserve stays the same.
Right,
Service charge goes up, consumption goes down.
okay, but they're not both 18%, because that doesn't.
They
balance.
are pretty much this,
Mm.
they're not far off that. I think one's 18, the other's about 20.
So my question would be, should commercial users have a higher reserve rate to offset that?
And that's about the only, or I guess I wasn't thinking reserve rate. I was thinking,
Or consumption?
service charge.
Okay, we could do both,
Yeah.
like,
So you look at, and I haven't done the per cubic meter cost, but so that user that's using 2,750 cubic meters a month is paying $141.50 for a service charge. If you take that $141.50 and divide it by 2,750, they're paying like a half a cent a cubic meter for a service charge, where the user, the 4 cubic meter person is paying like $9 a cubic meter in service charges.
so is the service charge the same for commercial and residential currently?
Yes,
And
correct.
how-
It's the only difference is size of the meter.
is the meter, what they pay for the meter itself?
Yeah.
Okay. And do other municipalities have commercial versus residential differences? Do we know?
They do, and the problem with every municipality pretty much has a different fee structure, like
Mhm.
us, it's
Yeah,
it's.
there's no apples and apples anywhere.
All completely different.
So I'd like to recommend we come back with yet another version, where we look at creating a commercial rate for both the service charge and reserves to
Okay.
try and recover some of that, I don't want to say savings, but discrepancy or.
Yeah,
Cause I don't think they'd be angry if they continued to pay what they're paying now,
right.
because that's what they're used to, right? It'd be nice to hand off a $1,200 a month credit to them, but not at the expense of others or our reserves and that stuff.
Literally, like we get a list every month of every user and how many cubic meters they use, and I would guess between 80 and 90% of them are in below the 17.
Right.
Um,
And even there, the increase is not astronomical, like, right, like.
yeah, it's
Like like
Yeah.
50 cents, $1, $2 a month, right, is not.
the only, like the red ones are paying more.
Yeah,
The ones that are up there in black are paying less. So yeah, like
That top red one is, if that's.
that $6
more
a month.
significant
Yeah.
On some senior citizens.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that's like, it's,
Like-
that is gonna hit a lot of people in this village, that
Yeah.
4 cubic meters
I
is gonna be a lot of the
think
seniors.
we need to balance that out.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can do some fine tuning and look at the service charge and the reserve charge and see if we.
I just don't think the brunt should be on that population.
yeah.
That's what bothered me about it too, so I
Yeah.
just wanted to,
So if we can somehow offset that by the commercial rate
Leveling it out,
and level it out a little,
Yeah.
so that,
and I'm sure there's a way to work it.
how much I used, you did, am I one of the examples? Oh, no, it's okay.
yeah,
I
I
can
can
go look
find
at
out.
my bill.
Yeah, well,
Okay, yeah.
we'll talk after.
Yeah,
We'll see where you were at.
so I think, Mary, we're in agreement, we want to somehow offset the
Oh, yeah, I want
the
to balance it out.
reduction in the high
Yeah.
users and then the low users, trying to reduce the impact on them. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
good.
And that can be done either through tweaking the reserves and or the service charges. And I think introducing a commercial rate, I don't think is unheard of or would be like not.
Yeah. So one of the things we'd have to do, we have, is it 3 different routes or just 2 in the village? Like for reading the meters,
Yeah,
there's one that's residential and
With residential, commercial.
yeah, but there are some commercial, like there would have to be some time spent going through
Oh, right.
and making sure that you're treating people appropriately.
And define what's a commercial versus a residential.
Yeah.
If I'm running a business out of my house, do I then trigger a commercial rate?
Yeah,
But-
yeah, where if you use the service charge, it's just.
Could it
if
be
your
based
meter
on
is
the-
2 inch, you pay this.
Could it be based on the zoning? Like all
Mhm.
water users in this,
You would look at that,
yeah,
But isn't it really too late to look at that kind of a change when we're in October? Like, figure it out this way by adjusting. That commercial is something for a later time
well.
to consider.
We're just looking at options, and like I would say on budget day. We would want to say, okay, we're gonna charge. We're gonna lower the consumption by 16% and we're gonna raise the service charge by 22%. And leave the reserve the same, or whatever the numbers work out to. We can do that on budget day, and I think arming ourselves with this information is a good. It took me half an hour maybe to put that spreadsheet
'Cause-
together.
consumption and sewer rates, like whatever I bring into the house, you charge me to take out of the house.
That's right.
Whether I do use it in the house or not, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, so that change should have no effect on a 4 cubic user versus
That's right.
2750, because every cubic meter in is charged out. It's the reserve and the service charge is where,
Yeah.
and then, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I didn't touch the reserve charge at all because just the way it worked out in the current year, basically what we anticipated in generating in reserves is what we spent on capital,
Right.
like within $10,000 or something.
But then
like
how
that.
does that 2750 user realize such a reduction? Where's the savings?
Because
coming from?
their per cubic meter charge is dropping by whatever the number was, 18 or 20% or whatever it was. So
But isn't that offset by their sewer rate?
no, because they're both consumption rates. So both their sewer and their water rate dropped. So let me go over here a little bit.
Oh, gotcha, okay, yeah.
And the current rate, so water goes from $1.74 a meter to $1.48. Sewage goes from 120 to 102. So it's 18% that it
Right,
dropped.
okay,
Where your different service charges goes from 35.48 to 43.63. So these are all the numbers that I plugged into here to get the totals. And then the difference was this number minus.
so rather than do commercial residential, could we, so a 5/8 inch is mainly a house, right?
For the most
Or
part, there are a
3/4.
few. Yeah.
Everything going forward.
Right, so the 1 inch and everything, 1 inch and above could be made much higher, right? Oh,
Yeah,
no,
there's
but we already
not-
do have commercial and residential there for the,
Which is because they're the same. I don't know why it's just been that way for a long time that we have 3/4 and 5/8 commercial and residential. The fee is the same.
right,
Or at for some reason, one of them is 3 cents lower than the other, but
so that should be an easy thing to adjust. You should be able to just plug in different numbers for the two commercials, and then everything 1, 1.5, 2, 3, 4 would be considered commercial probably, right? There's not a residence in this village that has a 1 inch.
I can
There are
see
a few.
I can see a 1 inch. Some
Okay.
of the newer Vale, bigger ones, they're putting 1 inch services, put a 1 inch meter. Anything over that? Commercial. I can't see anybody putting in.
Because the big concern is, we talk about water conservation and we're sort of doing away with that because we're dropping the consumption rates down. Sort of encouraging people to use more water, right? A lot of communities are increasing
going the other way.
that, increasing consumption to try and get you to put in to reduce your usage, right?
Mhm.
So we're sort of going that opposite direction. So that low user at only 4 cubic meters is gonna get a $70 increase, yet this commercial piece that's using like 600 times as much water is gonna realize a significant savings, which doesn't seem right.
To me, like off the top of my head, I would like to see us make the change on the service fee, not the consumption rates.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, I'm okay.
and
with
not
that.
the reserve either, but. You know, I'd like to leave those per cubic meter charges more or less alone.
And you're saying the reserve amount right now covered off last year's,
They were pretty
yeah,
close, yeah, within.
but how did
I
last
think it
year's
was about
cap?
$400,000 capital budget, if the
Yeah.
I believe that's about where we were. And they were within, like, they're quite close, the two numbers, yeah.
But the whole intent with reserves is to build reserves, not just cover annual capital,
Yeah,
right?
yep.
So that's why I think that might need to tweak a bit, because we can't just put 400,000 into reserves and pull 400,000 out of
Right,
reserves.
I'm not saying, going forward, I'm not saying that we don't need to adjust the reserve charges up and down, like
Right.
I think. In 2025, we spent pretty much everything we took in, and that's not. Like, we need to build those reserves, so I think we do still need to continue the work we've been doing. To try to generate more reserves, but. For the purposes of this comparison.
Yeah.
I
And then
did-
2025, how 400,000 in capital, how was that in comparison to a typical spend year?
I can't answer that
Jay,
question.
do
off
you
the top of my
you
head.
have an idea? Yeah, I know, that's the problem, yeah, yeah,
That's, yeah, his
We did a lot of
projects are
building.
big and,
yeah,
We did a lot of rebuilding when you came, remember? Early on, there was a lot of
stuff that
rebuilding, and he had excuse for that.
okay, so I think, yeah, go ahead, sorry,
Sorry, I
man.
just wanted to make a point. So our laws increase is the highest of any of the owners.
Yeah,
And it's because we are the lowest user on that chart. Of the budget that just got approved,
Yeah, we're
we had the highest increase. I was gonna say best, not the best.
we actually had the highest increase on the low end. So we use, our usage went up more than the others, which gave us a significant.
like, we had a 5% increase in usage where somebody else might have only had a 1%
in usage or billing,
usage.
so our
Because
water
our
usage,
billing is all based on usage.
So like Sarnia's going up 1%, ours is 18%,
18,
18, right? Yeah, I don't have it in front of me.
it's a part
gave
of
it to Jane.
5.
I thought it was gonna be, I thought I was told 8.
No,
No,
I gave it to her when I got back from that meeting. And like, St. Clair was like 4%. Everybody's like low, and then we stand out.
then there's no way to push back on this, or it's just the way it is, where to
It's based
take
on the
it?
formula.
It's all.
But is it a new formula, or is
No.
it, no?
No,
And it's based on consumption from 2 years ago.
Right,
well,
So,
that's another thing. Thank you for pointing that out.
it's a fairly involved formula.
now is that captured in this?
No, not at all.
So just an example, for between 2024 and 2025. We are looking at. We're going from, in 2024, we were 1.86% of losses total. In 25 so far, we're already 2.25%. So usage in the village is up.
Where do we think that usage is? Going.
Well, the hotel was cut down it was shut down for a long time.
Hotels.
And two,
casinos.
I think 2 years ago, right?
And
So,
yeah, because it's 2-year-old numbers. Casino,
Right,
like it might coincide with that.
but the casino went to all those waterless
Yeah.
urinals and dropped their usage like
yeah, the
crazy.
casino's usage has just dropped
Yeah.
significantly over.
But I mean, 2 years ago, they had, I lose track of time, like when did they have a shutdown, like the 3 weeks of the cyber attack and that kind of thing? Where they were shut down. Was that 2 years ago? I'd have to look it up.
So we've gone from 1.83 to
2.25.
so that's basically a 0.4% increase. But 0.4 out of 18 is 2%. Like that's pretty substantial.
Yeah, that's what I mean, like it's like if we had finished the Holmes Foundry development, this would all make sense, but We haven't added hardly any new properties,
Yeah.
like,
I would say it's gotta be largely tied to the hotels.
no, they are packed every night now. They're like,
Right, and so in 2 years, or
Yeah.
like.
and then the
even
Four Points was closed, almost closed for a long, long time.
More than a year.
Yeah, like
the
they
majority
were,
of it.
they were barely, like they were renting out little sections, like
Yeah,
when before,
Oh, yes,
back when
the-
they were,
Right.
yes,
when they were called whatever back then.
Mhm.
Holiday Inn.
They'll be.
In between,
The
yeah.
in-between
Oh.
one,
Oh, yeah. I can't remember.
we'll call it Stone.
Anyway, it's just,
yeah,
Staybridge. Saves me having to get it later and then call you.
so,
Okay,
okay, we'll work on some more numbers and,
and I think if we do this, we're gonna have to develop a bit of a communications plan of how, because it's gonna confuse people, right? It's gonna be, because all they'll see is what went up, not what went down and the like, so we're gonna have to really make sure
this
that
is-
we.
we're doing this because it's a benefit to,
Okay, anything else under new business, Mayor Hand?
you know, can't think of anything.
Okay. Anything, Jay, anything? No, we've kept you later than normal. Jim, anything
Yeah.
else?
It was longer than normal. Okay.
So our next meeting is,
Wednesday,
okay, yes, Wednesday,
November. Well. Just remember that, it's the day after Remembrance Day, we switched to
Yep.
Wednesday.
Wednesday, November 12th at 1 PM in these chambers. And while we're on the topic of Remembrance Day, the village is actually on Sunday, November 2nd. Everyone should be aware, not the 9th. So last year, there was some confusion, so we're really trying to get the word out this year, so.
Oh, remind me, did I find the wreath? Somebody's gonna look, I went downstairs.
I didn't find one down there.
Yeah, okay. Good to know. I thought it was stored, and it's not. Somewhere,
All right.
so it didn't come back here.
Yeah, we will adjourn till